Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to come on today and do a very easy, very attainable, but also very pretty smoky eye for you. I was sent over a few products from Lila B and Octoly, and I'm going to share those with you today. The first of which is a Virtuous Veil concealer and eye primer. So all of Lila B's products, I've tried some others in the past. I believe I've even talked about some on this channel, come in very heavily weighted compacts, and they look like pebbles. I think they are very, very pretty, very streamlined. I actually really enjoy them, but they are heavy. So be aware of that, because I feel like the heavier they are, the easier they may be to drop. This is in the color Be Present. And as you can see, this is not the first time I have used any of these products, but that is Be Present. So this is a concealer and an eye primer. Today, I'm only going to use it as an eye primer. You may notice my lids are pretty discolored. I typically come on camera already having them primed because I do have a lot of veins and discoloration. But I wanted to show you this in action. It's a small container. It has 3.3 grams of product. I have not used this as a concealer yet. I have only used this as an eye primer. So I will talk to it in that way. I'm picking up some on a Delium Tools 788 brush. I also want to note that these compacts do not have a mirror in them. And then I'm just going to lightly tap that product into the skin of my eyelid. And you are going to see instantly how much difference this makes between my eyes. Oh, hello, I'm awake. Oh, I'm really tired. That is the difference between these two eyes, I feel like. Super red and discolored. It may not come off as discolored on the camera as it is in real life, but I know the difference is going to show up. I used very little product, and it really just blends in very nicely. I don't feel like it streaks or emphasizes any lines. I do always go in and set any kind of primer or concealer, anything that I put on my eyelids before I go in with powder shadows. It matters not what kind of powder you use for this. Just grab whatever powder you may be using for your face or that you have laying around. It really doesn't matter. I just wanted to show you the intense difference between the two. So I'm going to do the other eye very quickly. Now, I did mention that I always like to set. That is a personal preference. There are some concealers and eye primers that I would always recommend setting before you go in with a powder shadow. I haven't tried it, so I can't say for sure, but I do feel like this has more of a cream to powder finish, where if you are not a fan of setting, maybe you have extremely dry eyelids and you just don't want to put any more powder than you have to for fear of accentuating that dryness, I think you might be able to get away with not having to set this. So let's go into the second product that they sent me. And this is the Be Stunning Palette Perfection Eye Quad. So Be Stunning is the name of the quad. And it is a cool toned smoky shadow eye quad. I can go ahead and tell you right now, I do not have a quad like this in my collection. I personally tend to go for more warm looks, more warm tones. If I have cool tones, they are typically incorporated into other palettes that also have warm tones. Or if I have a full cool tone palette, it is typically way bigger than a quad. They also sent over this cute little brush pouch with 3 other eye brushes. So that's what we're going to be using today. I do also have a coupon code to extend to you. It's not affiliate. It just helps y'all. It's actually 20% off the entire site for Lila B. So I will put that down in the description box and possibly on the screen as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this crease brush, which they're not labeled, but it is the fluffiest brush in the set. And I'm going to go into this color right here. Again, these shadows are not labeled, but it is what you would consider the typical crease color. It is matte, so there are 2 matte colors, this one, and then 2 more shimmer colors. None of them are what you would consider metallic. Now these don't have any dividers in them. So if you're someone who absolutely cannot do palettes that have shadows that touch, this is not gonna be for you. I feel like they're large enough for me to get brushes into where I don't have an issue of them blending together. So I'm gonna take this not only in my crease, but also kind of all over the lid. It is a soft color, which is why this is a soft smoky eye. Well, we're starting it as a soft smoky eye. Y'all know how this goes. A lot of times my soft looks end up being pretty not soft. For lack of a better phrase and way to explain that. So I'm gonna keep building this up. It is a buildable shade. And if you saw, it goes on really softly, but you can build it up for a little bit more pigment. This is not the shade that's gonna be like the star of the show or anything. I'm really just setting a base color down, almost like a transition shade, but also something to show a little bit of a gradient once the other colors are applied. This brush is very nice. It's not scratchy or too stiff or anything like that. So that's a plus. And again, it's not the first time I've used this. In fact, I've washed them as well since I've had them, and they wash great. I know a lot of brushes may not keep their shape as easily as some other ones after washing, but I don't have an issue with those. Now I'm gonna go into this really small definer brush. It could be a detail brush, a lip brush, an eyeliner brush, whatever you want it to be. And I'm gonna go into this darkest color in the quad. And I'm gonna pick up some on this brush. And because I do have all of my other makeup on, I'm gonna tap it off really well because I don't want any kind of fallout. And I'm gonna do a very small little flick of an eyeliner and pull it in, and then really work on building this up. Now again, this is a softer color. It is not super dark. So if you want that really intense, dark liner color, you are gonna have to work on building this up a little bit. This brush is great because it can get right into that inner corner, and I am taking this all the way into that corner. Now I'm gonna go into this color right here, which is more of a shimmer slash sheen color. And it is darker than the crease color that we just used. And I'm gonna use the flat shader style brush, and I'm gonna go above that eyeliner and press that in to the lid and even a little bit up into the crease. So there is very, 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 very slight amount of reflection when you move the head from side to side. So if you have someone that, or if you are someone, getting my words mixed up here, are you surprised? That maybe has some lines on their eyes that they don't really feel comfortable wearing super shimmery shadows on for fear of accentuating them. This is not something that you are going to want to be fearful of. It is not going to accentuate anything you don't want to because it's just not that type of shadow. It really is more of a satin than anything else. And then I'm going to go back into this crease brush, and I'm going to mix the satin shade, I'm pointing to the wrong one, that we just used, as well as that original crease shade, and blend out that crease. I'm going to take that detail brush along with that darkest shadow again. I don't know what he keeps hearing. You know what? Chad's out of town, and when he goes out of town, I mean, I'm not complaining, but he gets extra protective, and he barks at any little, I mean, the cows can moo, and he'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, he just goes crazy. All right, I'm going to start, and I am going to connect over on the outer corner. Now, the past couple of tutorials that I've done this kind of technique with, I've kind of stopped right about here, but I want this to be a smoky eye. So I'm gonna take it all the way in. This brush is my favorite out of the trio. I love the size of it. I love the way it fits so easily into, especially like this inner corner of my eye. Even some of my tiny brushes, it's not as easy as this one is for some reason. And now I'm gonna take that original crease color on a Rephr 14 brush. And I'm gonna really pile that color on. And I'm gonna use it to smoke out that dark color. Now this is the point where you would maybe, if you want it to stay super soft, that you maybe wouldn't do. But I feel like when you're doing a smoky eye, like it's go big or go home, especially for the lower lash line, because I feel like that's what completes a smoky eye. Bring a little bit of brightness back into the eye. I'm gonna use this fourth color that we haven't used yet, that pretty small amount of shimmer again, ivory color, and I'm going to pack this on the inner corner and a little bit on the brow bone to bring a little bit more light to that area. Sometimes when you do smoky eyes, it can, even though we don't take it all the way up to the brow, it can kind of droop the eyes. So doing this either with a shimmer color, satin color, you know, matte color, doesn't matter, but some type of brighter color will help kind of counteract that droopiness that can sometimes make its way to our eyes when we do smoky eyes. I have had quite a few people ask me for more gray toned looks, and I don't think you could get more gray or cool toned than this Be Stunning palette. Now this is definitely not the only quad they have. They have other colors. In fact, I have other quads from them, but I think this might be my favorite one because as gray and cool toned as it is and looks and appears, I also think it's pretty versatile. Everyday look, you could definitely just put this in the crease, this all over the lid, smoke it up, just do a wash of color, do a full-on smoky eye with just the darkest shade. I mean, there's lots of different ways that you can use this. Hopefully you got some ideas just how I used it. And again, I will put the coupon code down below for y'all if you are interested in getting 20% off of everything, I think excluding sets on the Lila B site. So all of that information will be down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future ones. I hope you're all staying happy, healthy, safe, and sane, and most of all that you go out and have a very blessed day.